Well, you can rock and you can roll and you can stop and even stroll it at the hop, 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 hop. When the record starts to spin and you so when you chicken at the hop, hop, hop.
Welcome to the Car Guy channel. We have a fantastic show. All sorts of crazy things going on. We're going to take you through the shop and show you a lot of the projects we're going to be doing and some of the how-tos of what's going on. A little bit of change. We get a lot of cards, a lot of emails on the show of really what's going on, what's this, what's that. We're going to show you and take you around a few of these things, and I think you're really, really going to like it. Sit back, get yourself a cold one, and enjoy the show.
Well, you can swing it, you can groove it, you can really start to move it.
One of the projects we're really excited about building is a 1956 Chevrolet Nomad from a good client, Doug. He wants this car kind of a retro rod. We sat down really for months. We had this car kind of sitting around for a little while, a little longer than we like to, but we are all guns go on this car to get it go ahead and built. We've already had the frame off the car and redid the whole frame. We're talking about sanded, scraped, welded, reinforced it. The 56, 57 frames are extremely strong and they're really hard. They work really well when you get some of the newest updated suspension. And we'll go over in one of the other episodes. But building the body and taking care of the rust is really the core of this. The frame and the structure of the car, you can't build nothing until the structure gets going. This whole complete outer rocker panel, there's actually two sides to rocker panel. This happens to be the outer, and there's one on the inside. And it's structural. When it's actually put together, it's like a beam. And it keeps the structure of the car very, very rigid. Even though it bolts to the frame, these were well-built cars. They were heavy cars. These cars right here were 4,200 pounds sold from the factory. A lot of steel. They were a really, really strong car. And this right here goes all the way along the whole piece. We did not piece nothing in. We sold exactly the full length of the outer rocker panel. The outer rocker panel has a little tab right here that you're going to see that actually bolts on to the front fender. The fender bolts onto here. Now, if Estelle shows you the picture of this whole complete area completely eaten away, you can see where the craftsmanship that comes in on parts that are not available. There is no corner piece. There's no firewall side cowling sheet metal that is made for this car. Now that's why doing restoration, you do have to be skilled. There's a lot of things to do. It takes a little bit of time, and I'm going to reverse that. It takes a lot of time. And doing this type of project is a little bit different than doing the 56 Nomad or the 64 Ranchero. This right here is going to be done pretty much on 100% more of the original task, not a street rod car whatsoever. But we went ahead and did everything but lift the body from the frame. This right here is a 1959 Buick LeSabre. Now they made a couple models. This happens to be a convertible, which is to me a holy grail. The fins, this is 59. This is the year of fins. They're cool. They look great. One of my favorite year cars for these. And of course, we almost call this Rust Week. All our work, all our sheet metal is being done this week. For some panels we had to buy for this car because we really can't produce them here. So some of them we found at a good auto wrecker. Now, doing a Buick, there's very few and very, 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 very rare parts to get for these. They don't make a lot of reproduction parts, even though they made a lot of cars, but there's not a lot of reproduction parts available. These cars had rust issues and rust areas like we're talking about in the valleys and in some of the gullies of the car. We went and did a lot of stuff here. We actually fabricated a new gas tank for it, put all new lines, brakes, all the way through this car here. Let's take the restoration off, do a little bit of a beaten path. Yes, this right here is a 1974 Karmann Ghia. Now, a Karmann Ghia car is really not the car we specialize in, and I really think it's neat when you restore a car that they have a story. The story behind this car is absolutely spectacular, and there's a sadness and a goodness to it. Got it from a client, and we purchased the car, and it was in their family, and somebody passed away, and we got a really good bargain on the car. And having a bargain on the car meant a lot to me on the business end, but the other side of it was I am a car guy. I felt the car was worth restoring. The price was set at a number that I'd like to see you restore the car, Mike, and I said I will. Now here's a project we're talking about also. This right here is a 1967 427 435 horsepower Chevrolet Corvette Coupe. These were so popular back in the 60s, just as they are even more today. These right here fetch a huge dollar. They're probably one of the most biggest money generator cars out of most cars that are actually factory built. This car right here is sold to a good buddy of mine. I've had it in my collection for a long time, and it's just one of those cars that we just want to paint it and paint it right. Stripping the paint off a Corvette, there's different attitudes, different ways of going about it. I'm telling you, we decided to go about this the old school way. Sand it off, don't go past the gel coat, and get done. The paint we're scraping off, but this coupe is actually phenomenal. With a 435 horse car, pull the gas tank down, tank sticker was absolutely spectacular. talk about a tank sticker in another episode, but it really goes ahead and says the VIN number of the car and all the options to prove that this car is the real deal with the 427, with the 3 carburetors, and all sorts of crazy things. But let me show you some work on this car here we're doing that I think it'll impress you. Now, the way to do some of these cars here, there's a crack. Now, cracks usually come in the corner of fiberglass cars. Fiberglass used back in the 50s and 60s really wasn't perfected yet. Corvette has always maintained building a car since 1953 all the way till today's date on building a fiberglass car. We're talking a fiberglass car from soup to nuts. It's the only manufacturer that's actually kept a fiberglass car still in production, even built today, is the Chevrolet Corvette. So we get a crack that comes into this line right here. We're going to go ahead and drill a hole right at the very end of the crack. Now, this usually will stop the crack, and we use some special fillers they got today. They got some phenomenal stuff that we pick up over to our good buddy's auto parts store for this cleanup, to clean this crack in there. And it's a bonding agent, a fiberglass bonding agent with micro hairs into it, and we will fill that in and clean that.
Well, I saved my pennies and I saved my dimes. Giddy up, oh.